Clayton Parrish, thanks so much for coming on. How do you know Ben Swain?
Yeah.
Oh man, Ben Swain is my hero. That's who I want to be when I grow up for sure.
Dude,
In
me too.
in 2007, Peterson's Four Wheel Drive, the magazine. I don't know if they still in print anymore, but I sent in my application, and I was the air quotes Toyota guy.
Cool.
My truck was a piece of junk, man, but it looked cool though. It was a '93 4Runner. Chopped the bed off, chopped the back of it off, grafted on a pickup truck bed. Had a 3.4 liter swap out of a Tacoma, solid axle front, Marlin crawler, everything. It looked awesome. It looked awesome. It's a huge piece of crap. And me and my friend Eric went up there, met the guys in Texas. Who all was there? Slee was there that year. Clifton Slay, Poison Slider, all the magazine guys. Everybody super cool. Trent McGee.
Right.
And we blew up our rear diff 3 times in one day. Right.
Jeez.
So it's me and my buddy Eric. And we're a bunch of dumbasses, but we're having a good time. But Ben's there, and they've got their solid axle swap 200 series. Wait, no.
Okay.
No, or 100 series. They had the first solid axle swap 100 series. So Ben was teaching us how to set up gears because we kept blowing up diffs all day. He's like, guys, what are y'all doing here? So, so I met Ben in 2007 in Texas, and he gave me his personal cell phone number. That's where he screwed up. So I've been texting him
and fell
every
in love
time
with opinion angles, right?
Yeah, that's right. And so every time we blow up on the side of the road, I tried to harass him too much. If we blow up on the side of the road, man, the Sea Off Road guys are the first ones to call for sure.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Yeah, his shop. We got a little tour after the podcast. It's impressive.
That building just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going.
Yeah, and Greg was drooling over all the parts and stuff. He goes, "What fits my Tacoma?" The whole time. But
unfortunately, all my trucks are so old that I don't have. I left empty-handed.
That's right from Slee. Yeah, they're all so. Those guys are so smart and innovators and super nice guys. Awesome people to deal with for sure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I spent a lot of the conversation talking about his pallets. The wood pallets and stuff, because we were talking about logistics and pallets. I don't know,
his pallets are perfect, absolutely perfect pallets. They're not,
busted up. Yeah.
Those are square, perfect.
It was nice, but yeah,
whatever makes you happy, that's good. So
yeah, I guess if you can do really well on the small things that don't seem to matter, then you'll be trusted with the bigger stuff. So yeah, I mean, and then he also was building a $120,000 Lexus LX50.
Oh yeah,
70. So
yeah,
I mean,
every day they do that stuff. They're awesome.
Exactly. Then, so what's your background? I mean, like you were, were you?
You're the Toyota guy because you love Toyotas and that's all you do.
So
other things.
Yeah, work up in Toyota off-road and stuff.
So luckily, I guess when I was 16, 15, we bought a 86 4Runner. So like 1996, 97, we bought an 86 4Runner. That first gen 4Runner, the top comes off.
Yeah.
And, oh man, I put 4 6x9s in it. I had 2 12s in the back. Top comes off. We drive to the top just stayed off of that truck. And we had some 31-inch co-op mud spurs on it. Huge tires in the day. Had a bumper and a winch, and so that was my first Toyota. And probably since then, I've.
Oh, we lost a little audio there. I don't know. There you go. We can hear you again. Sorry.
We lost audio for a second.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
No, we're back on. What's good?
So I got the 86 4Runner in high school. And then I've had probably one Jeep, and I've had some F250, 350 tow rigs, but I've had probably 60 or 70 four-wheel drive Toyotas since then.
Wow. Jesus, 60 or 70, you said?
I mean, I've got right now. I've got a 2017 Tundra. That's my daily driver on 35s. I've got my 73 Pig. My oldest son has a GX 470. My middle son has a 06 4Runner on 33s. My youngest son has an FJ80 on 35s.
Jeebus.
I just sold FJ80. So yeah, I've had a lot of trucks, but 95% of them 4-wheel drive Toyotas, and they just
buddy. That's amazing.
That's nice.
Okay.
Don't have to work on them much, right? Unless you intentionally go off road and break them, but in general, pretty reliable.
Well, then why don't you just have one? If it's so great.
Well, so I'm kind of I'm kind of a dumbass.
Oh,
and so
okay. I didn't understand.
all right, so if one of them, if I'm doing something to the 73, I take my Tundra off roading. So my Tundra's got big pinstripes going down the side, and then and the Tundra tows other vehicles that break down, brings home broken vehicles, right. And then the 80 series kind of a handy dandy do all. And the pig build was kind of my dream, my ultimate Toyota build. And
the pigs are the FJ55s from like what years are those? Because they give them the 60 pig because they just look like
the headlights and snout similarity.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. There are a couple of 68s, and I think they stopped making them in 79. And yeah, so the front has a snout look. People think it's a Scout sometimes, or sometimes they think it's a Bronco. Even cruiser guys, you don't see many pigs around, and they rust really bad. They're infamous for rusting.
Yeah,
so it looks like a pig, and then they rust. And I had a FJ60 at the time. And a buddy of mine who I was buying parts from, he's kind of an infamous cruiser guy. He had a parts store called Cruiser Junction, and a little play on words. It was Cruiser Junk, Junk, Cruiser Junction.
That's funny.
Right. So, that's good. But now, and he had built a pig. He had a FJ55 on an FJ80 chassis, so you get your coil springs, E-lockers, and then he had the 4.7 liter, the 2UZ out of a 100 series, and he put them together. I'm like, holy shit, man. That's the coolest truck I've ever seen in my whole life. Like, I want to be you when I grow up. And then, so he inspired mine. Mine's a little different. I got a 5-speed manual in mine. Marlin Crawler built a Tacoma transmission for me. So it's got the 2UZ, the 4.7 liter V8.
Wow.
With a racing clutch, heavyweight flywheel. And it's got a Marlin Crawler built transmission, dual cases, 55-gallon gas tank.
Damn.
Shortened the 80 chassis 5.5 inches. So it's got coil springs, E-lockers, bypass shocks. So super nerded out on it, right? Anything kind of all my favorite Toyota stuff, the best Toyota engine, the dual cases, the coil springs, and it'll go 100 miles an hour. And FJ55s weren't made to go 100 miles an hour. This truck,
that's great.
No, man, these trucks came with a 3 or 4 speed and four-wheel drum brakes, and it's like a brick.
Little bitty tires and
yes.
And they're narrow in the first place. So if you get that thing a little bit tall, even if it has a soft riding suspension, it's still up there. So and the short wheel, it can't be fun.
It's we have driven, me and my oldest son, we flew to Idaho from Alabama, We bought essentially a bone stock 69 model, 3-speed, drum brakes, no AC, no nothing, no power steering. And we drove it from Idaho to Alabama. It was about 3,000 miles, 2,800 miles, max speed, 60, 62, something like that.
Wow.
And then I ended up selling it to a guy in Montana. So then we drove it back to Montana from Alabama. Almost died in a snowstorm in Colorado. That was fun. Man, this one, I said, this is kind of my dream build. Every fun Toyota part, the best things I could afford at the time. It's not as clean as what y'all build, these hot rods and stuff. But for me, regular dude in my garage, I stuck the frame back together. There's a really nice shop in Colorado. They built
is it called Slee off road?
Yes,
but I mean, I just like this thing.
That's my dream, to have all those Marlin Crawler transmission dual cases. That's my dream. Also,
yeah, we're looking at the pictures that you sent us, but can we throw some of these on Instagram? On our page?
Yeah.
Okay,
I can see you some more or whatever. So,
but because these are awesome. I mean, it's gorgeous as it sits, but it's like. But yeah, that one photo of the body off of the chassis, and you go, Oh my gosh. Okay. You're insane. You're clinical.
Yeah, sure.
But if I could be insane just like you, I would be. So
yeah,
you're not that insane.
But how? I mean, these are Marlin transfer
Marlin
cases?
Crawler is a company that specializes in the manual transmissions, and they do a dualer transfer case, which means they put two transfer cases together, so you have the ultimate low range, and then you have selectability. You can have front wheel too low, front wheel too high, front wheel.
Yep.
I mean, you can just have one wheel driving if you want in low gear.
No, wait, because actually, so Clay, can you actually can you just put drive to one corner or no? I mean, just front and
rear. You could if you get out and unlock the hubs and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
but that's just being extreme in my mind.
But you can.
What they build is insane. Marlin Crawler Marlin just passed away recently. And,
yes, sir. Yep.
His legacy is amazing. He started in the 80s, if I remember correctly.
They do such good stuff, and huge Toyota nerds. All those guys, they're pushing the envelope. And so I've got 15 forward gears. And
15 forward gears. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
They overlap some. But you put it in low range, and so you're kind of putting around the trail. But then if you want to do some rock crawling stuff, lock in the E-lockers, put it in double low, and just get out, and the truck will crawl by itself. I love.
Or you could go get out and I'm not totally foreign to this. I've had a geo tracker.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
with a
that's
low
right.
range, and
yeah.
So I get what you guys are saying.
It's the same. Yeah.
So
I forget that he has the
little
off-road
street cred.
It's awesome.
Yeah. But I don't know. You might have come across geo trackers when you turn on your windshield wipers to flick them off, but
never.
But no, I mean, they're respectable if they're built up, but not when they're two open differentials and
he knows what open diffs are. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, man. Race car guys have lockers too. Yeah.
Amen, dude. Amen. The lockers and stuff. I mean, well, I've had some Broncos and a lot of OBS Fords. You know, that's kind of my daily driver is always going to be like a Ford truck. So it's so I just grab almost every generation I can afford. But
one day I'll get him in a Tundra.
Yeah.
But I recommend Toyotas. Yeah, I recommend Toyotas to everybody. But whatever. I just can't get over the initial purchase price because
I get it.
I know it's worth it, but. I'm not smart enough.
We were joking in one of our other podcasts how you could, if you gear everything right, and I think I referenced Marlin Crawler dual cases, you can put it in for low, and get out and watch it do all the rocks. And he goes, and then that's when you die on the trail because you're trying to get a cool picture of your truck crawling.
That's a real story,
And your truck is 6 miles away, but you're down on the trail, and
and it goes to town. Go fetch the ambulance. Go last, and hopefully it comes back. But I think that'd be really funny. Just I love the idea of at least. It was always fun with the tracker or with friends with Jeeps or whatever. Just hopping out and watching it go on its own. That was always fun. Not like cool guys in the South like you got where you're ghost riding and stuff like that. Remember that was a trend for a while.
Yeah.
No ghost riding.
I was bitching as heck, man. Those are the guys that I look up to. I'm kidding.
It's a little over. Go ahead.
There's other things besides Toyotas that you do, right? I mean, you're not just a Toyota mechanic or something like that.
No, like I said, I like to play with them, keeping the kids involved with them, doing things like that. But no, it actually pays my bills. Is I'm a helicopter pilot in the Army. I fly Blackhawk helicopters, which is super fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's super fun.
Thanks for not lying to us about how cool it is to fly a helicopter,
right? Especially a badass helicopter.
They're fun. Blackhawks, man. Blackhawks they're Cadillac. It's really? the crew cab. It's the crew cab Tundra of aviation. We got about 4,000 horsepower. Can pick up over 9,000 pounds hanging below it. We cruise around at about 140, 150 miles an hour, just kind of cruising around. And they're just really, really fun, handy dandy do all aircraft. The Hueys probably had about 1,400 horsepower. They had single engine. all the modern aircraft are all, for military wise, all the modern aircraft are dual engine. A Chinook, the big double bladed ones, the two big blades on top.
Yeah.
They've got about 10,000 horsepower.
Wow.
So they're burning 7 gallons, 8 gallons a minute of jet fuel.
Yeah.
So please keep paying your taxes. Okay. So, so they're,
I want to keep flying.
And that's all. I've been in 23 years. I enlisted. I joined the infantry, went and fought the war, did all that stuff. It was cool, man. Like shooting 50 cals and grenade launchers into buildings. That stuff's pretty fun. But long term, for career wise, the Army has a program where they send you straight to flight school without a degree. So there's a ton of Marines in Army aviation. There's Marines all over the place. So I went to flight school about 12 years ago, I guess. And then there's a lot of different skill sets in aviation. Kind of what some stuff we're talking about, being able to fly. We call it wiggling sticks. You're wiggling sticks. You got to be able to
That's
rudders.
What he does on his own.
That's right. Yeah. So we do as a team.
He was, we couldn't go hang out one day because he says he was wiggling sticks.
That's right.
Different podcast.
He was tired.
Oh, okay.
Something about being calloused, and I didn't know you were a helicopter pilot. That's amazing.
That's a different podcast.
Okay. Well, this will be relatable to you. This story.
Okay.
That's cool.
So,
Anyway.
so you learn how to, fly, how to not crash, right? That's goal one priority. Don't crash. Right. And so you're learning how to up, down, left, right, turn around. And then you start talking on the radios, and then you start putting it all together, flying multi-ship. When you're that third or fourth aircraft, I'm talking with my hands. I know y'all can't see it. But when you're that third or fourth aircraft, everything's real turbulent. You're trying to land with night vision goggles. You got night vision goggles on, which if you kind of put your hands together in front of your face, that's all you can see with night vision goggles. It's a really small field of view. So you're looking around all the time. It's dark. It's heavy. It's just a lot of work. But you've got to put together being able to manipulate the flight controls, wiggle sticks. You got to put that together and then talk on the radio and flying through national airspace, flying through Atlanta, Salt Lake City, whatever. We flew one of my favorite missions. We flew an aircraft from Seattle, Washington. We took off to see the Pacific Ocean. We turned around and then we flew it all the way to Montgomery, Alabama. It took us like 5 days. It took us 4 or 5 days to fly the helicopter across the country. So that was a fun flight.
That's amazing. So
So flying a helicopter, it requires both hands and both feet, and then you're still having to pay attention to your surroundings as well as it's not just moving both hands. Both hands twist too as they lever.
The old school, like a single engine Huey, you had the throttle there with your hand. It's what we do is I try to translate to like car talk. Our engines are basically at full power kind of all the time.
Okay.
We run the engines up, and then with your left hand, when you're pulling in power, you're kind of engaging the transmission kind of.
Centrifugal clutch is happening at that point. You're letting it go and stuff.
Yeah, but man, it's got to. Yeah, I try to inside that turbine engine only weighs about 400 or 500 pounds. Like I said, it's got 2,000 horsepower, and we've got 2 of them. It's spinning inside the turbine. It's spinning a shaft, 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, producing about it's 1,000 degrees in there. So it's spinning a drive shaft. So you got 2 drive shafts coming together and then going into the main transmission.
Oh, so this is more variable geometry that you're getting? Is that kind of a thing?
Yes.
Like perfect turbos and things like that, where you're moving the fins and the turbines more?
Yes. Yeah. And so what we run into is we run out of heat. You're trying to demand more power, and the engines are going to get too hot. And that's where that will limit you on power is kind of stress to the transmission, and then the engine's getting too hot. And then you'll just, something's going to give. If you're trying to pull in, you're too heavy, too high, too fast, something's going to give. The engines are going to get too hot, basically is what it is. The engines are going to get too hot, not making enough power, and then you start slowing down or falling out of the sky or something like that. And then
has that ever happened to you?
No, they're great aircraft. They're everything in it is very redundant. You have 2 pilots. You have 3 generators, you have 3 hydraulic pumps, everything. You got 2 sets of hydraulic lines that go to the tail rotor. The engines can go for 30 minutes with no oil in them. They're made to be shot up. The blades are honeycomb, so the blades can be shot up, and they're made to go to war. That's what they're made to do. The Navy has them. They call them Seahawks, but they're made to fly over the ocean. They've got to be reliable. The maintenance on them is crazy. All the gearboxes, all the little transmissions, they have a sensor on them, and after every flight, we download it, and it is tracking the frequency of basically the gears in there. And it'll tell you upload it in the computer, and it'll send like a report saying, hey, man, the intermediate gearbox, the bearing's about to go out in it. The gear's about to go out in it.
Great.
Because it can tell yes, it is incredible. So we've got all these great tools. So it's tons and tons and tons of maintenance because we don't want to break at 9,000 feet, right? We don't want to break at 20 feet in the dark. We don't ever want to break. So I like some people, once you are flying for a while, the way the Army does it, some people become instructor pilots, safety pilots, not safety pilots, but just safety guys. And then I became a maintenance test pilot. And I'm like, that sounds cool, man. I'll be a maintenance test pilot. Yeah. But now I look back, it sounds kind of stupid when I say it out loud.
Because you were assuming that you were going to wear a leather jacket with flames on the sleeves?
No, but we go fly the broken helicopters is what we do.
Okay.
So
your maintenance test.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So Chuck Yeager on this side.
No, we're not experimental test pilots. We're maintenance test pilots.
That's category, yeah.
It was a really fun course, and there's so many, man. There's switches and lights and circuit breakers, and so it was a really, really good flying course, and like essentially what like the fuel injection computer. We don't call it that, but essentially what is a fuel injection computer. And so what we'll do if they put on a new fuel injection computer, we go up 5,000, 6,000 feet, whatever. You pull one engine back to idle, and you take the other engine and you overspeed it, and make it hit the rev limiter, right? So you're hauling ass. We're going 170, 180 miles an hour, aircraft shaking, all this stuff. And you overspeed the other engine, bounce it off the rev. This is car talk. I'm bouncing it off the rev limiter until it slows down the rotor system. So you're making sure that the rev limiter works, right? And so it's exciting. It's fun, but it can kill you, which is super. That's super frowned upon. It's super frowned upon.
So is it safe to assume you're not afraid of heights?
No, hey, for real, a lot of pilots are. They really are. A good friend of mine, she just graduated training. I helped her do her flight packet. And it's different. You're sitting up front, you're kind of in control. I don't like riding in the back, but sitting up front, it's kind of like riding a motorcycle in the sky. It's the same kind of feeling.
Yeah. I don't like being a passenger in anything.
That's right. Yeah. So it's even worse in the helicopter.
Gee whiz.
And like we do, like paper airplane flies, right? No engine. You throw a paper airplane, it'll coast. A paper helicopter doesn't fly that well, right? It falls out of the sky.
No.
So what we do,
The rock.
what we do is it's called auto rotation. And if you think about it, I'm talking on my hands again. If you stick your arm out the window going down the road and you twist your hand up, it picks you're producing lift with your hand.
Right.
So if we lose both engines or something happens, we do an auto rotation. When we're normally flying, the air is coming through the top of the rotor and going out the bottom of the rotor. We're producing lift.
Okay.
If you lose both engines, you're now falling out of the sky, whatever 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet per minute. You're falling. So you take all the power out, you dump the collective. So now the blades are essentially flat. So air is coming up through the blades. The blades are spinning because air is coming up through the blades, but you're falling. You're going, you look out the chin bubble, that's where you're going. You're going down. And then when you get pretty close to the ground, 50 feet or so, you basically have one pump of the brakes. And when you pump when you pull in the collective, you're twisting the rotor blades, like twisting your hand going down the window, and you're producing lift that way. So you could fall 500 feet or 10,000 feet, doesn't matter. You fall. and that last 50 feet, you pull in power, and it's like pumping the brakes, and you stop your fall about halfway up. So the power is about halfway up. You've stopped your fall, and then you kind of grease it on. You pull up the rest of the power you have, which is twisting the rotor blades, and then you just kind of slide it on. So,
wow.
And that's called auto rotation. We practice that all the time.
Damn.
It's not that common on dual engine aircraft because you've got a backup engine.
Right.
But on these EMS helicopters, things like that, you've got one engine. Something bad goes, you're going to hit the ground, but hopefully you can auto rotate and hit the ground softly.
Okay? So then, why do you have to wait? Let me ask the dumb questions. Like,
nope. Do it once.
What's love like? No. Let me ask that. Let me ask the dumb questions. Like, why do you have to wait till 50 feet? Why can't? It's not getting denser air? I mean, or is it just you only have one chance? You can't do this the second time.
You get one pump. That's it.
Okay, just because that's the only the hydraulic pressure left in the lines. Is that
no? You could.
That's the power you have left.
That's all the power you have left. So when you take the collective out, the blades go flat pitch, and you're falling.
Like if a parachute kind of thing, feeling, I guess, with the blades, maybe not even that much, I suppose. But
if you can get any kind of updraft through those blades, maybe it'll slow it down. But if they're spinning, the air's just passing by them, and you're still falling like a rock. So
that's right.
You're trying to save that last bit of power to make those blades do your airplane pickup.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah. So if you pitch the aircraft too far forwards or too far backwards, you start losing rotor. So you're falling. You're trying to keep the natural wind. I guess you're trying to keep the rotor spinning at 100%. You want the rotor spinning 100%. And what's keeping it spinning, is you falling through the air.
Right.
And as soon as you pump that one brake, then that's it. They're now twisted, and now you're falling. So it's a balance of pitching the aircraft, looking for a spot to land, and then that one last pump. And so what we do as maintenance pilots, I said, some saying this stuff out loud makes it sound super dumb, but when you auto
guilty for all of us.
When you auto rotate, the blade, you're trying to keep it 100%. So you take the power out, you drop the collective, you want to spin 100%. So what we do, we go pull the engines back to idle and take the power out, and we just see how fast they spin. And they'll get up to 110, 115, and they're screaming, "Wah!" And we're falling. You're falling 4,000 or 5,000 feet per minute, and the blades are just screaming. And so we're making sure that all the mechanical parts are correct. So if they do have a true emergency, we make sure they don't speed up too fast, or you can twist the blades and put balance on the blades and lead and lag and all this stuff. If that stuff's wrong, they may not spin fast enough.
Wow.
So some things we do. So that's pretty exciting stuff, man. That makes your butthole pucker when you're falling. Yeah. So
to say the least, man.
some things are not sexy. We shear starters. So we gotta go put a new starter on it. And then the crew chiefs, they take a lot of pride in doing that, maintain the aircraft. You shear a starter, you gotta go put a starter on, and we just go out and crank the helicopter 3 times, whatever. But the engines are $1 million each. So you have to be careful when you crank them. But there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, they have
catastrophic failures that you've witnessed though with that stuff.
We've had an engine fail at like 100 feet. It's really common if you're going to have something bad to happen. Sometimes it'll happen right there at the beginning. Taking off, heard a loud bang, and you hear it's in the aircraft, boom, and just landed in the field right off the end of the runway. And we came out and swapped an engine in the field, and something inside of it had popped. And so the crew dogs are awesome. We have a little kind of portable crane. It comes in and put a new engine in out in the field. And as a test pilot, we go and crank it up, and everything's good, and then move on with life.
In my mind, if you're 9,000 feet in the air and you're like, okay, let's take this engine back to idle and throttle this engine and see it at RPM and watch it bounce off. That in my mind, let's take 5 of the 6 lug nuts and loosen them all the way off and see if that one last lug nut is going to hold while we're going 95 down the highway. You ready? Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, see, when you say it out loud, it sounds dumb, right? I tell you, but man, there's procedures in place. There's all these safety things, but at the end of the day, you got to be careful. It kills people sometimes, unfortunately.
Okay. So earlier you said some of that stuff crosses over. Sometimes work crosses over into life. Toyota crosses over into work and stuff like that. Yeah. So then, do you put the wife and the kids in the in the Tundra and go hauling ass down the highway and say, "We're testing to make sure that all the seatbelts in. Yeah, we're just testing, family. It's for your safety."
No, not that. I've never taken them up in it. We've ridden in a Huey. But I've never gotten to fly them before. I want to buy a little Cessna or something, and so I can go fly the kids around.
So you can fly around and go do like short trips over to another state and do something.
Yeah,
back.
Yeah, fly the beach, whatever.
Yeah,
go to the mountain. Yeah, it's the people fly to the beach, go get lunch. Just mess around. It's fun. It's fun.
You've earned that. You should do that. Yeah.
Well, I'm taking donations, so y'all let me know. So.
I think I got $2. I'll send it your way.
Okay.
But
it's fun.
Pick us up once also.
We'll do it. They're really great aircraft. We've got really good maintainers. They're expensive, and our job at the end of the day is why being in the infantry, we're trying to keep those guys safe and putting them as fast and in the dark, right on target, so they can go do their jobs. We're glorified bus drivers, but they're like really loud, really expensive bus drivers with night vision goggles. But it's not a bad life. The Army's been great to me. The military's been great to me for sure.
I don't know if I'd say glorified, but the most important bus drivers, that's for sure.
But that's drinking on the job, I imagine. But, I don't know if you went to school where I did, but anyways, that's rad. I mean,
thanks for your service also.
Yeah, thanks for your service.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I enjoy it.
That's no small thing.
No.
But back to, I guess, some cars too, just, is all your peers, are you guys all Toyota guys? I mean, are you
the only Toyota guy?
Have you noticed a trend of...
You said you had a Jeep at one time.
With guys that are... in your line of test pilots, I mean, is there any kind of a trend or any theme that you guys are doing? Like Apollo astronauts all have C3.
Yeah. No. I think the military as a whole, man, you got a lot of Wranglers on 35s, Tacomas on 35. There's a lot, that kind of mindset. They kind of go out and do. There's a lot of that. No, test pilots, we're all bald, and then the instructor pilots, they have scarves and sunglasses, and we're over here stressed out here trying to fix a broken helicopter, and then they're in the office chit chatting it up. So we give them hell about that. But we definitely have the hottest wives. We throw the best parties for sure.
There you go. Way to go. That's so funny.
And I think the military as a whole.
You just recruited a bunch of people right now.
You should be on the recruiter film right there.
Yeah. That's my day job. So I go fly once a week, and then my day job is recruiting for pilots. So I talk to people all day long about going to flight school. And it's a huge obligation. It's 2 years of training, plus then you owe the Army 10 years of service after flight training. So but I mean, it costs millions of dollars to get it trained up, so that's pretty fair. But, I do. I talk to people about flight school all the time. That's what I do.
Nice. Well, what do guys do after military? Are they commercial pilots often, or?
We have a lot of people who fly for the airlines. I don't want to fly for the airlines. It seems super boring to me. We have ton of people who fly for the airlines. We have a lot of people who fly the little EMS helicopters, the little small. A lot of them are single engine, but they'll go land in the field, pick up a patient, take them to the hospital. EMS is very common. Fly offshore. They do go to the oil rigs. I want to go, when I retire, I want to go fly in Alaska for a couple months, or go fly in Antarctica for a couple months, something like that. The forest out west, forest fires.
Make one suggestion, I guess, if you do ever retire from it, then there was a documentary film back in the late 80s that was parallel with Knight Rider. We had a documentary about the crime-solving Trans Am called Airwolf.
Okay. Yeah, I know Airwolf. Yeah, we all know Airwolf. Hell yeah, we know Airwolf.
And being a mercenary helicopter pilot,
the
volcano, would be
absolutely.
I so wanted to have that helicopter when it would. And it was like the same, like 6 stock footage of it flying, direction over the same desert. Yeah. They just repeat it over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh no, man. We all know Airwolf, and we all talk shit. Tom Cruise, Top Gun, he's cool. But you know what? When he bailed out, guess who saved him? That's right, a helicopter. He sucks. He can't fly for shit. But you know what? A helicopter came and got him and Goose out of the ocean. That's right.
That's awesome.
I don't care how cool it is. It can't fly backwards. It can't hover. I don't care. So
that's awesome.
You ain't that cool, Tom. You ain't that cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so are Huey pilot or not Huey Harrier pilots the only ones that you would respect in a fixed wing?
I wanted to fly Harriers. That's why I joined the Marine Corps. I wanted to fly Harriers, but like I said, I started having kids and deploying all the time, and just never finished school. But Harriers are pretty cool. No, I mean, if they were like, "Hey, man, I need you to fly an F-35," I'd be like, "Oh, fine, I'll go fly the F-35, whatever." But don't make me.
Yeah.
But in general, as Army aviators, our mission is to support the ground guy, and we go to the field and we do all this stuff, and Air Force, Navy guys, they're a lot more, cool sunglasses. They're out there dogfight, and all that stuff's fun. But as a former ground guy, that's what we do: is we support the infantry guy. That is our job in life, and that's what I like to do. It's just a little different kind of mindset. But everybody's got their mission. The in-flight refuelers, and I mean, we've got bombers that take off from Missouri, fly around the world, and drop bombs in Iraq, Afghanistan, and then fly back to Missouri and land. So that's pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool. We can't do that, but it sounds kind of boring though. So.
Well, they go fly point A to point A. Really, you just go from Missouri back to Missouri after they
can. Well, like when all the stuff, if we need to, things are kicking off. They have the ability. They in-flight refuel. Who knows how many times? A bunch of times.
Okay.
But those pilots are logging flight time, and they're asleep. There's 3 pilots. One of them's asleep because they're going to fly for 16 hours straight or something.
Jeez Louise, man.
So the capability is really awesome. We have a C-130. Air Force has a C-130, and they put a howitzer. They put a piece of artillery in it sideways. So it flies around, and they're shooting straight artillery straight down from the sky and supporting guys on the ground. And those are super cool. They call them a Spectre gunship, Spectre, Spooky. And that's pretty badass to be like, hey, man, I need some artillery support straight down from the heavens. And so all that stuff's pretty cool. But day to day.
Yeah, where I would go, if I could pay my taxes and then select where I want it to be allocated.
To fund?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, sponsor a C-130.
Like when you make an extra payment on your car payment, I want this much to go towards principal and this much to go towards interest. I want all of it to go towards this war over here. Thank you.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, they write your name on the side of the Blackhawk or something. Everybody else from your county.
Or at least your ammo round, because that's all you're going to get. You're not going to buy a whole helicopter. You're just going to get one of the rounds, dude.
I felt like I bought a few bullets this last year.
You did. Y'all have for sure. No, thank you.
No, it's awesome, dude. I'm glad you're putting it to good use. That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
maintaining the helicopter.
Well, the only good purposes of government and taxes should be going to defending the homeland and roads and plumbing. I think, but
infrastructure. Yes,
and then leave me alone with the rest of it. But yeah,
we need infrastructure. Yes.
So that's huge. Gosh, then. So when you're in these more high stress situations, then does it help you not lose your cool when you've blown up a Toyota out in the wilderness?
Yeah. It's what is the the kind of recruiting thing. They want aviators to be, oh my gosh, I'm messing this up. Risk takers. It's calculated risk takers is what they said. Mm-hmm. So, if they want people to be cyber warfare guys, they want you to be, want to sit in the dark in IT. They have this skill set they want. But for aviators, they want a calculated risk taker. And I think some of that kind of translates over. Yeah, I'm going to drive up this mountain or off this cliff, or this truck I built out of 8 trucks. We're going to drive it. We're going to drive it across the country. We're going to load a bunch of teenagers and drive this truck I built across the country and just kind of see what happens. Teaches you to be independent and, to be able to fix stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's how it was with like early hot rod culture. It was always, it was the guys coming back from World War II and then just, wanting speed and all everything. I mean, the Harley Davidson guys got a bad reputation because it was all the daredevil military guys who just wanted to raise hell and
have had to jump out of a plane that was shot out of the sky and not sure if their parachute's going to open
and their dopamine receptors have been ripped apart, so you got to fulfill it somehow with a little bit of
so now they're on a Harley trying to rip across the town knowing that they've pushed the envelope
and ripping off your fenders off of your 32 and going nuts.
Drag racing, having fun.
You don't have any experience with Model A's, do you? I mean,
so the only car I've ever owned, I guess, is here in my garage.
The only 2-wheel drive car?
Yeah, the only car I've never owned a car. This is the only car I've ever owned. Oh. It was my mom's. It was my grandfather's. We've got a 1930 Model A.
Nice.
Bone stock. My grandfather bought it in like 1955, and him and my mom worked on it, and she drove it to high school in the 60s. So this car is 94 years old, man, and it still runs and drives. It's it's wild. To crank it up. This is not this is not a new Prius, right? It's a 1930. To crank it up. The gas tank is right in front of the windshield. It's got a gravity-fed gas tank. The fuel line comes inside the truck. To crank it up, you turn on the fuel line inside the truck.
Right.
You have to set the timing on the steering wheel.
Yeah, set your
So set your advance on the steering wheel a little bit. There's another lever on the steering wheel. It's your throttle. You pull it down until you see the throttle, the accelerator move.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then you turn the choke a quarter, pull the choke out, and then hit the starter button with your foot.
Yeah.
And then once it cranks, you let loose of the choke. And so then you have to adjust the choke and then adjust the timing on the steering wheel to get it all set up. That's probably, but it's still a good friend of mine has a shop in West Mississippi. His granddad still kind of keeps up with the Model A's. And this car is probably not worth 10, 12 grand, but it's super cool, man. You just don't see many stock 94-year-old cars driving around. And about
one function.
Yeah.
About 30, 35 miles an hour. That's it. That's all she wants. Right. But the suspension and the brakes are all pretty sketchy too. So it's got new tires on it. But driving the Model A, man, everybody, thumbs up. The Model A gets a lot of attention. And it's fun for me because, my granddad and my mom built it in the 60s. It was 30-something years old then. And it's got the original paint. I mean, it's basically a bone stock 90-something-year-old car. It's super fun. So that's the only car I've ever owned. I never bought it, but I guess that's the only car I've ever owned.
That's beautiful. If you're going to own something, if you're going to make it unique and special, then we'll go all the way. But I've ridden in one, and I also got to we had a machinist who owned one and would drive it to work every once in a while. And it was great because he had an Escalade and then the Model T and some Jack, and it was hilarious. And he would, maybe we'll talk to Craig Kennedy about that. A machinist guy, he's a nut bar. He would build his own Enigma devices and stuff. I mean, he's a banana. He's bananas. He's one of those extra guys who's hilarious. But he and he let me hand crank it to start it. He's like, oh no, I can start it on the pedal. I'm like I go. You don't understand. I need to.
I want to.
This is one of my bucket list things, and made him make me or let him let me do it. So it was pretty fun. Yeah, and I love that. Yeah, he's like going thumb out. Make sure you go there and pull it hard. But also the only other Model A I've worked with it has always had small block Chevys or we had a Honda swap motor or something crazy nutty the other end, and no more gravity fed and everything else. So it's been some.
I sold an enclosed trailer to a guy that builds custom hot rods out of Birmingham. He's actually moving out west. But he's like, do not sell this thing. If you sell this thing, it's going to be slammed. It's going to have a 454 in it. He's like, no. He's like, if you want this to stay as it is, you got to keep it forever.
One of us will get a hold of it and ruin it.
That's right. So me and the boys tinker. Me and the boys tinker with it. That's probably my favorite thing I've driven. A friend of mine's got probably 700-800 horsepower King of the Hammers desert race rig. Ooh. That thing is insane. That is fun. I mean, he's got $20,000 worth of shocks. You can haul the mail through the desert, man. That thing was really, really fun.
What was that based off of? What was the engine or? Thing or just too buggy?
It actually was really cool. He's from Idaho. He had put FJ55 skins on this tube chassis.
Oh, very cool.
So it had who knows, man. It had some built Chevrolet engine, spider housings, and all this stuff. But he put FJ55. He called it the War Pig. Yeah, and it was super cool, man. I mean, going 80, 100 miles per hour through the desert like that. It's just wide open. It was really, really fun.
That's my dream. Oh my, yeah. But it's never going to happen with independent front suspension like I have.
No. He had a really, really nice pig. It's got a 4BT, and he's got one of the clean. There's no telling what his pig's worth. He's got one of the cleanest pigs around. Everything on it is like you guys do. The hot rods is just custom made. Every little bracket. They don't make this bracket anymore. Okay, cool. Go in the mill and make your own bracket. He's got a beautiful, beautiful pig, and there's some old hot rods. Yeah, and then his desert race car looked like a hot rod. It was pretty slick.
Nice.
That was fun. Driven a couple of fast Porsches a buddy of mine's dad had. But really, it's mostly four-wheel drive stuff. I try to load up these kids, these teenagers, and go out in the woods, go camping. And one way or another, when you're driving these old trucks, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Venture. We leave from Alabama. We'll go to Colorado, go to Utah, Idaho, whatever. Last year, I love Toyotas, love them, right? FJ80s are notorious for blowing head gaskets. To kind of move ahead in the story, FJ80s blow head gaskets. So just think have that in mind. So we load up. We've got two FJ80s, salt and pepper. One's black, one's white. One's got 285,000 miles on it. One's got probably 270,000 miles on it.
Yeah, and these are like the mid 90s, late 90s.
Yep. This is the last year of the solid axle Toyota in the United States. Kind of desirable trucks. It's me and my buddy, and then 4 teenagers. We haul ass, make it to Oklahoma. Next day, we're in. Was it New Mexico? I guess we were about to come up into Colorado on I-25. I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Raton.
Yeah. That's it. And my son, he pulls over. He calls on the radio. Oh man, it went to the red. And pull over. We pull them off in a turnaround area, and I turn the key. I don't crank it. I turn the key, and the temperature gauge, boom, is just pegged out. So let cool. But I don't hear any coolant boiling or anything like that. So I take the radiator cap, pour a little water in there, and I can hear it, boiling inside the block. Right, it's super, super, super hot. So we sit there, we get out all the tools, we do all this stuff, let it sit, cool 20, 30 minutes. We're slowly adding coolant to it. And I call Ben, I call the Sea Off-Road guys. I call my buddy back home, Rocky City Cruisers. I call Rory. I'm like, I hope it didn't blow a head gas. I hope it didn't blow a gas. We pour coolant in it, crank it up. When we found a little tiny, it wasn't a radiator hose, but a little tiny coolant hose. It was busted. Okay, replace it, crank it up. Everything's kosher. All right, here we go. Right on. And then we go.
End of the story. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we made it home. Yeah. And then coming up 25, as soon as you come into Colorado, you're starting up that big hill. As soon as you hit Colorado, I don't know what town that is. Like I said, and Reed calls me on the radio again. He's like, "Man, it's getting hot." We pull over. So we have pull over 2 or 3 times. Make it over the hill. We stop at one of the first kind of gas stations there. And I'm calling. That's what I love about Toyota. I'm sure it's in the other cultures too, but in the Toyota 4-wheel drive cultures, I'm calling everybody. The Cruiser Outfitters, Safari Classics, and Arkansas. Everybody knows. I'm trying to get somebody to tell me that no, it's not a blown head gasket. It's something else because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So I'm calling all my buddies, but no, it's the radiator overflow. You kind of just crack it and then rev the engine, and exhaust is coming through there. Well, exhaust isn't supposed to come through the radiator, right? It's exhaust supposed to go out the back. So the radiator is blown. But now we're day 2 of this 10-day trip, man. We've been planning this for 6 months. We're going camping in the San Juan Mountains. We got rooftop tents. We got spare tires. We got coolers, man. We're overland ready. All this stuff. So what are we going to do for us to? We're not going to give up, right? We're not going to turn around and U-Haul tow it home. That's going to cost $1,500 anyway. If we go rent a car, that's going to cost $150 a day, and then we can't take the rental car over the passes in Colorado.
Right.
So we're trying to figure this out. I get hooked up with a cruiser shop up there. He's going to work on the 80 while we're in the woods. And so I tell all the kids, I'm like, all right, everybody get on Facebook.
Was this Redline Cruisers up in Colorado Springs? Or
no, this was a different shop that remained unnamed because they didn't do a good job. So, but it's fine. We eventually got the truck back, but he agreed to work on it. But I'm like, the best way out of this, we're going to buy another truck. That's what we're going to do. Cool. So I don't know. Am I a genius or am I an idiot? I don't know. But either way, we're gonna buy another truck. So the kids are look for a first gen Tundra. We're looking for a GX 470. We're looking for some sort of 4-wheel drive Toyota so we can continue on with this trip. And a kind of infamous Toyota guy is named Yukon Kit. He sends me a link. A guy's got another FJ80 for sale, and right there we're going Colorado Springs. So that night we go buy another 300,000 mile FJ80. so we're sitting at camp. We're pushing 900,000 miles between these three trucks. We swap over all the camping gear to the new old truck, to the 93 model. We call it the Snow Princess. Bought in Colorado. It was white. So we bought the Snow Princess and dropped the blown up truck. We dropped it off at a shop, and then we take off for the rest of the trip, man. And we go over Engineer, Imogene, Black Bear was closed, but we go do all those fun passes in Colorado. We're camping up at 12,000 feet, man. The kids are having a great time. My 14-year-old was driving. He almost rolled it on Imogene. My 17-year-old, he's learning how to drive. We're going up the hill. I spent more time with my 17-year-old on that trip than I had in months because he's stuck in the car with me. He can't go out and about and go. He's got to hang out with me. So we bought the Snow Princess, drive it all over Colorado, and we get back, finally get cell phone service, and his truck is still not ready yet. So then, we drive the Snow Princess home. And about, we were in Oklahoma or Arkansas, headed back, is cruising that night, and I can see him in front of us, and he calls me on the radio. He's like, man, the truck smells weird, and we got headaches. I'm like, oh shit. And I can see something's on fire, right? So there's a small fire under their truck. I'm like, pull over. And
holy cow,
he had this crappy Flex exhaust, and it had broken. We're hauling ass down the road. So they're getting carbon monoxide poisoning.
No.
so they're getting carbon monoxide poisoning, and then the broken exhaust is hanging in front of the back tire, and it's caught the body mount on fire. So there's a small fire, and the carbon monoxide poisoning. So pull over. It's like 11 o'clock in Arkansas, middle of summer. And my buddy Matt that's with us, we go inside and we buy a bunch of like tall boy Miller Lights, like a 24, 32 ounce Miller Lights. And so we got to drink a little bit of them to kind of get the stress off. But then I've got a little portable grinder, and we cut up all those beer cans, cut up 6 beer cans, and go into the gas station, buy a bunch of hose clamps, and patch the exhaust back together with beer cans. So we're on the side of the road, man. It's late. We've been camping for 5-6 days. The kids are exhausted. They got just a little bit of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, nothing.
Just a little.
Nothing called carbon monoxide poisoning like alcohol poisoning. So
and so we get to the hotel, 1 o'clock next morning, something, and then I get up the next morning and go to the parts store. I'm buying every piece of exhaust I can find, little sections, clamp all together. by the time we get to the third parts store, I actually found another piece of flex exhaust, so we got it put back on. But the kid, my middle son, he didn't say it to me, but he said it to Matt. He's like, "Man, that was cool." Matt's like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "My dad fixed a truck with beer cans." And I'm like, he didn't say it to me, but my kid thinks I was cool for a minute, for just a minute. My teenager thought I was cool, and we had something else.
You carry Miller Tall Boys in the back of the Blackhawk.
That's right. Maybe not. I can't disclose that. But
they're empty.
That was
it's fine. They're empty.
And we got back. We had another we had a brake caliper bolt backed out on the Snow Princess, and somewhere in my mind of useless Toyota knowledge, the brake caliper bolts are the same as the bolts that hold the bumper on, and they're the same as the bolt that hold the seat belts on. So somewhere, I got a little iceberg with penguins on it. Right? There's a little penguin that knows brake caliper bolts and bumper bolts are the same little fine pitch thread. So we fixed that on the side of the road, and the kids are just out there playing on their phones, do whatever. I'm like, "Are y'all not concerned about this?" They're like, "No."
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Why? Like, our brakes don't work. They're like, "Y'all going to fix it, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to fix it, but that's not the point, man. That's not the point."
You know how to fix it?
Yeah. And we've just always had something crazy. All these trips we go on.
That's
the pig caught on fire one time. My youngest son was me when the pig caught on fire, but going out and kind of there's a little bit of adversity is good for you. Mm-hmm. And so we're putting gears. My 15-year-old, we're putting gears in his truck, so we're setting that stuff up. He's learned how to rebuild a front end. I don't know if he really truly enjoys it right now, but I'm trying to kind of push that on. Hey man, you need to be able to kind of, what's that noise? Why, batteries, alternators, what's the difference? Just basic. And to me, I think once you kind of get some confidence in how to do that stuff, whatever's broken, I'll figure it out. I got YouTube,
Yeah.
And then there's so many good cruiser folks out there. Like the guy, Dio, that kind of inspired my pig build. He's got Dio Motors. He's got a shop. We've got a Land Cruiser group in Birmingham over the mountain. Mosley Motors in Memphis. All these guys are just, man, you call them at midnight. Hey man, I'm broken down. I need X, Y, and Z. They talk you through it. And these guys love the sport. There's some big name guys out west, Marlin Crawler, Cruiser Outfitters, Valley Hybrids, that, man, you call them and they will just talk you through it. Hey, I'm trying to put this part in. And I don't know if Jeep culture has that as much as we do, because we're all such a bunch of nerds. But all these guys are so willing to help you and want to kind of keep the adventure going, I guess. And
there are a select few Jeep nerds like that are willing to be gracious, but for the most part, unfortunately, some of the Jeep guys are just the bigger tires, light bars, and now I'm an off-roader.
Yeah, like me. That's who I want to be.
Yeah. You're getting limited slips. You're getting lunch fun.
I know.
You're doing that,
but I want big bumpers and lights. Most importantly.
But you're doing the tires with the limited slips. You're doing it logically.
It doesn't matter, dude. I'll do that.
Lockers?
They work. But
if you do it wrong, you do the light bar and then the front lights and then the tires.
I am, absolutely. I'm just joking, but I
think you're doing it right.
I absolutely hate having, it's like I bought a 4-wheel drive and it's useless and anything that's slick. And it's like, I hated it. I know, I've had like the OJ Broncos and I've put Spartan lockers in them. And amazing how much it changes things.
It changes everything.
And like guys in the parking lots, they go, hey, your axles are broken or something. You go, click. You go, You go, no, I'm a 4x4 nerd. I know what I'm doing. And
that's right.
It's like, it's supposed to be this way.
It's supposed to be this way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's also girl repellent too, but it's still.
Oh, man. But the Land Cruiser, oh my gosh, all the dudes I want come talk to me driving the pig around. Dude. Yeah,
absolutely. I bet you it does attract a lot of the guys out of the woodwork who are really into it because that's niche within your niche of
for sure. Super nerd truck. Our local club, Dixieland Cruisers, they've got, man, he's restoring FJ40s, but he's also solid axle swapping 100 series, anything you want to do. And just whatever kind of run what you run. They want to come, they want to go riding, they want to go camping, maybe drink some moonshine, cook some steaks. It's always a good time. We always have a good time.
Yeah, that's where I want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, come on.
I love moonshine and steaks.
Gosh, yeah, and Clay, with all these big time adventures and stuff, and like I guess calculated risks and whatever else, and may surprise risks too. But I mean, like if you have a guy who's just kind of in his shop alone, I mean, do you think there's any? Is there anything advice or anything that you wish that you had learned early on, maybe before you headed out on these things?
We asked Ben Swain what was the one thing he always takes with him when he goes off roading. So similar to you, what's the one piece of advice that you have for the future helicopter pilots and the future off roaders who are going to break stuff?
Man, take a buddy with you. Take another truck. It's the adventure is more fun with friends. Yeah. And if you're driving this old stuff, man, somebody's going to break down. Somebody's going to get stuck. And take a good attitude and take a friend with you.
Amen, dude. Yeah, you've said that a lot throughout this whole podcast. Just saying, like, because you're saying you're calling these guys, you've created a community, you've reached out, and that's. Yeah, and if there was anybody like who's intimidated to jump in to these things, it's kind of fun. Even you'll get over it pretty quick. I remember
intimidation.
Yeah, remember the old ham forum and stuff, the hokey ass message board that came up with a jalopy journal way back when.
Yes.
So I remember asking questions on that too about like about spark plugs or whatever on a 66 C10, and it's like and I got 100 answers, and then I had to compile them into which one
was correct.
Yeah, exactly. I go, okay, at least by popular vote, we're getting AC Delcos or whatever. but it was such a big deal, and being able to get some community or whatever, and then just ask, because so many people want to teach you what they know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And get excited when you're
trying to learn.
Curious about it too. I mean,
I remember when that stumped me. Here's what I did to figure it out. Yeah,
everybody's so cool. Our little Dixieland Cruiser message thread, somebody couldn't get a tie rod end off. He's like, what do I do? I was like, hit it with your purse, man. Hit it harder, right? But he never done it.
My blue one.
That's right. He'd never done it before, and then somebody came over and he did. He brought a giant wrench over. 30 seconds later, popped, it's loose. But yeah, I mean, now he has the confidence to do that, and he went and bought a hub socket, so he can change his own TVs. And I think just getting the confidence to go in there, being, hey, it's just nuts and bolts, and you got YouTube.
That's all it is.
And get with a good club, and take a buddy with you. Take a winch and take a buddy. I've got my toolbox. I've got all kinds of metric stuff in there, but go with a friend. They're more fun to cut up and take pictures and drink moonshine with. And if you break down, you got somebody, because you're worried about you being broken down, but that kind of third party, they can say, all right, man, is this going on? Is this going on? Is this going on? And you did. You blew a head gasket, buddy. Sorry. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. So,
I just recently did that myself. So I know what you're talking
about. Oh man, it's sad. It's a sad day. That's the only kind of major repair I've ever had to do on a Toyota. With our rock crawlers, we break discs, we break axle shafts, stuff like that. But
that's different. Yeah,
the blown head gasket is truly the only kind of ever in 25 years of driving Toyotas that I've ever had to do, besides a starter or something. I think every Ford pickup I had, I put 2 or 3 transmissions in. They just like to use them, I guess.
Well, he's backing that one up.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just put my transmission back in. I'm fine.
Yeah, there you go. You're good. Another 30,000 miles. You're good.
Whether it needs it or not, another 30,000 miles.
It's like a clutch. That's kind of what it is.
Oh gosh, yeah. AOD might as well be that whole DOD or whatever. But
AOD is DOD.
Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, awesome, dude. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes. Thank you for having me,
Clayton. And is there? anything that we could like send people to see like pictures? You have an Instagram page, or
how can we promote you?
Or do you want
man,
or should we just see you on the trails? Huh?
Dude, we'll be in Moab in June. We're taking a 77 FJ40. We're taking a 97 Land Cruiser, an 04 Land Cruiser, a 4Runner, a Sequoia on 35s. I'm on Facebook some. We're going riding in Moab, going to Arches.
When in June are you taking off? Or
that first week of June, we'll try to camp in Colorado if the passes are open. But we're just like I said, man, we're just a bunch of dudes out there cutting up. Somehow shenanigans, it's going to happen, right? Between this group of guys. I'm on some of the Facebook pages, the Land Cruiser groups, but I don't really have I had a Blackhawk off-road business building trucks, but I'm too busy at work right now to do that really. So
no, that's fine. That's great.
If you come to Colorado, let us know. I'd love to meet you.
I will. Yeah, man, we'll be coming through. I think we might be coming south of y'all, but we'll be coming through in June. Maybe
I'll go south.
Yeah, maybe come back. I want to go twice this summer if I can. Once with the kids and once just kind of go hang out. But
maybe by then I can pull you guys out of ditches with my heavy Ford.
That's right. Hey, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Sweet, Clayton. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. We had a lot of fun. Thank you guys.
Yeah, we too. Absolutely. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Sorry, bye.